Hello and welcome. Today I'm bringing you Feature Friday number 2. Today's match is by Muchas Gracias in the Tier 8 German battleship, the Tirpitz. It's a match on the map Two Brothers and it's in domination mode. Muchas Gracias is in a division with another Tirpitz and the Bismarck. It seems like a very Tier 8-ish game, essentially, well, it isn't too, spread out. Like there aren't many Tier 9s or Tier 7s, almost everyone is Tier 8, which means that it's a fairly balanced match. It should mean that pretty much everyone has a chance against pretty much everyone else. Also, the current way that Muchas Gracias is handling the camera is a bit worrying for me because last time the guy did the same thing and like the thing where you sit on top of your front guns, and it wasn't very well received. I hope it's okay. Okay, so there are torpedo bombers incoming towards Muchas Gracias. He has a cruiser behind him, so it's possible that they should be able to cover him, but oh, never mind. It seems the torpedo bombers are actually more interested in the Błyskawica than going for our Tirpitz here. That's actually a really good choice because hitting a Błyskawica is a lot easier than many other destroyers because Błyskawicas, well, they have really slow rudder shift time, so it's more difficult to try to dodge things because you don't have time. And well, there goes the Błyskawica, although, to be fair, she got rather unlucky because she was actually detonated, and I believe it's by an enemy destroyer. So that guy definitely got unlucky, especially if that was like a hit by the... what's it called? Fubuki instead of the Benson. One might hit here. I'm not actually sure if that hit or not. It made the sound effect that the shell hit, but it didn't give a ribbon, so I don't know. Okay, so it seems that the name of the game for their team is to, well, go for the D cap and try to cap A, but, well, it's more like they're trying to contest the D and cap A, because the enemy team definitely has more ships, or should have more ships at the D cap than Muchas Gracias' team, but for some reason they aren't pushing into D, and it's kind of a similar situation for Muchas Gracias' team, because they aren't pushing into A, like not properly anyway. They just have a Tashkent that's trying to cap a Tashkent. Think about that one for a moment. And the enemy team has two DDs that don't seem to be fighting all that much there. I guess the Bismarck is fairly scary, and it appears that Tashkent is unable to continue being in the A cap, so that's okay, I guess, but I do feel that the friendly team needs to push into A very soon, or start pushing into A, because it's not really gonna go well. They have, how many ships is that? 4, 5, 6, 7 ships here. Enemy team has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ships. I guess it's maybe not that favored for his team after all, and it should be more equal. Huh, interesting. Well, they've lost 2 ships though. That's not good at all. Because, well, you know, falling behind in ships early is pretty bad. Luckily though, they had 3 destroyers at the start, so losing 1 still puts them at equal. It's a Fubuki Benson against Fubuki Tashkent, so it should be more or less fine. So, right now, it seems that they're doing this weird standoff at A, but they are actually losing the D cap, which is bad. Wait, what are you doing? Dude, aren't you turning into that torpedo? Okay, it seems he stopped turning. That's good. I was afraid that he was really gonna just turn into the torpedo. I mean, God knows I've done that many times, so I'm not really one to judge, but it's still something you really don't want to do. I really like this Tashkent on their team though. He seems to relentlessly try to get the A-cap, which really is something that he should be doing, because it seems that they really can't hold the D-cap. They have a DD and a battleship over there. The enemy team has, what's that, 2 cruisers and 2 battleships. Yeah, they don't really have a chance. Since it seems that they lost another... Oh, I guess they lost the ship on... they lost another ship on this side of the map instead. That was a nice salvo. 35,000 damage to the Aerroon. 2 Citadel hits, so he got rather lucky with those shell hits. I don't understand why people play like... Why do you zoom in on top of your guns? Like, what's the purpose? So planes are incoming. That should... Oh, never mind. They appear to not be incoming after all, and the Tashkent was successful in capping the A-cap. That's very good, especially since it happened even before the enemies got the B-cap. And it seems the enemy, or the friendly carrier, sorry, is trying to strike one of the battleships in D, and that might also be very useful, although the battleship is next to 2 cruisers, so it might not really be very successful. Okay, Muchas Gracias tells his Tashkent to leave the A-cap. I'm a bit surprised that salvo just did so little damage though. It seemed like a really good one. And I think that what he called out for the Tashkent to leave the A-cap is the right decision, because right now what's capping is that Bismarck, so if they keep shooting it, you know, the Bismarck won't be able to cap it anyway. And that's kind of good enough. You don't really want to lose your Tashkent for nothing. Honestly, I am really impressed so far by what Tashkent has been doing. Like, consider the fact that he's a Tashkent. That concealment range is really, really, really weak. Yet he has been actually able to take the A-cap under the noses of a Fubuki and the Benson. And they are actually holding on to it. Cyclone coming around is very useful for Muchas Gracias' team, because they are actually, I would say, pretty far behind even. They have really no chance of taking D, and I imagine that they might even lose their battleship at... Actually, no, never mind. I was afraid that they might lose the battleship that went towards D, but I guess it's okay. I don't understand this one. You do realize your torpedoes only have 6 kilometers range, right? Like, they will literally time out when they reach this spot. There is absolutely no chance they will hit anything. On the other hand though, it's not like he's gonna need them for probably a really long time. It seems very, very unlikely that these torpedoes would be useful in any fashion anyway. I guess it's not so bad. That seemed like another decent salvo, although this time the dispersion didn't seem to be as useful, but didn't work out, I guess. Got unlucky, so they are definitely losing the A-cap now. I can't really imagine how they should be able to take it back. What they are trying to do though is that they are essentially leaving the A-cap and going to try to kill off these ships in the D-cap and then take that one. At least that's what I imagine they should be doing. Because it seems like a really smart idea. Because if they take 1, 2, 3, 4 battleships here and the destroyer, they should be able to easily take these 2 battleships and the cruiser on that the enemy team has. Oops, I need to actually press like this. So there... Wow, it doesn't show the... Okay, so there's 2 cruisers and 2 battleships in this region here. So they are bringing 1, 2, and... Okay, this map is useless. Need to show the minimap. So there are 2 cruisers and 2 battleships on here by the enemy team. And they are bringing 4 battleships to fight them. So they should be able to actually take them on. One thing that does bother me when I'm playing and a cyclone is going on is that people fire blindly and shoot torpedoes. And when I say bothers me this time, I don't mean that it's a mistake that people make. I think that it's something that I don't know quite well how to do, and it seems many people... Please do not torpedo here. You might hit your Fubuki. That would be very bad. And Fubuki always tries her best, so that would be really rude. I would try to focus on the other Atago that's coming around the corner. tried to take him out before he gets torpedoes off. But he already fired his guns. This is actually pretty bad. It seems to be a secondary build, Tirpitz, so I imagine he has the Atago selected as a target. He's gonna torpedo the other Atago, but honestly, I think you really should have taken out that Atago. That would have allowed you to just sail one way and only have to worry about torpedoes from one side. I think these torpedoes might be worth it, just in case the Scharnhorst has like a heal that he could still use. Okay, at least he takes out Samic. Of course it's a citadel hit, because it's literally the last hit, so it's always a citadel hit. That's a rule in the game. And honestly, I think that he got incredibly lucky here by how Ceronimus and the other Atago failed. Like, they could have easily torpedoed him and even unintentionally cross-torped him. He needs to finish her off right now though, otherwise it's gonna hurt a lot. What the hell are these torpedoes? Who are they even targeted for? What the hell were those torpedoes? Like, did that Atago not even try to torpedo him? That's really weird. Like, don't get me wrong, I think that what Muchas Gracias did was pretty awesome, but what the hell was the Atago doing on the enemy team? Anyways, regardless, Muchas Gracias and the Fubuki should be able to take the decap, but honestly, looking at the team situation, things are pretty bad. They have 5 ships. The enemy team has 3, 6, 9 ships. 9 ships against 5. Yeah, I'm not really liking their chances. Right now, the only positive thing is the fact that there's a cyclone going on, which means that the enemy team can't just take anybody out as they wish, but otherwise this carrier would be so dead. On the other hand though, they should be able to take out this battleship. Hopefully they don't lose anything, otherwise the game ends, because the enemy team had 961 points at some point. Oh, they actually lost another ship. It seems the carrier took one out. That's very well done by the carrier. And I think they might still need both of them. It seems that there's some other shenanigans going on there. Hopefully they don't really ram. That wouldn't be beneficial for Muchas Gracias' team. They really need the enemy ship gone and not to lose a friendly one. On the bright side though, it seems the Fubuki is getting into the friendly B cap, because, you know, Fubuki always does her best. And this means that the enemy team is going to accumulate points at a slower rate. You earn 4 points every 9 seconds for every base, so that would be very good. The enemy team is capping C, but Muchas Gracias is around with his fairly healthy Tirpitz, so should be able to take... Oh yeah, it's the Rune. Hello, Mr. Rune. And have a nice day. Here's a little gift for you. Okay, planes incoming. Unfortunate salvo. Although I find that it's rather normal that when I shoot runes, I tend to not be able to citadel them at like medium to close range. At long range, sure. Unfortunately, with the rune comes an Amagi, so this might not be a done deal yet. Still need to defend. Okay, excellent, the rune is gone, so now it's a fight against an Amagi, and I feel like a Tirpitz has a significant advantage. The downside is those torpedo bombers that are coming, so they might hurt a lot. So the question in this current situation is, should you be trying to turn away from these torpedo bombers, or should you try turning in? I think the right decision here would actually be to turn away, because the torpedo bombers come from a pretty bad angle from behind. So if he kept turning away, what would have happened is that the torpedo bombers wouldn't have been able to drop at any point, but it seems the enemy carrier actually misplayed this one anyway. He turned way too far ahead, and that meant that he couldn't get a proper drop, and Muchas Gracias was able to just turn nicely away. Friendly torpedoes took out that Amagi, which is very good, so Muchas Gracias can now fight the Pepsi, and that should be good. Oh, Oh, the Pepsi is still alive. That's very weird. Usually Pepsi Colas don't survive. Well, yeah, he's pretty dead anyway, I guess. Can't really say much, but think about it. Muchas Gracias team was down 5 ships against 9, with 961 points on the enemy team, and right now it's they have 3 cap zones, 752 points, and the enemy team has 1 cap zone and 817 points. And they are currently hitting the enemy carrier. And well, I mean, and goodbye carrier, I guess. And that's a Kraken Unleashed, and well, Muchas Gracias' team is ahead. 4 ships against 3 with more points and more cap zones, and Fubuki, that always does her best, is taking the A cap. Although, one downside is that there is a DD. Okay, there wasn't a DD. Last seen was around the A cap, but apparently she's there. Oh my god, 15,000 damage to the Tirpitz. That's rather unexpected. 5.6 kilometers is pretty much the closest range you want to really be to a Tirpitz, unless you know that they have already used their torpedoes, or you're doing a potential suicide run. Otherwise, you really just want to start sailing away then, so that the enemy Tirpitz can't torpedo you. Also, did you notice how high he aimed? That's about as high as you should aim when you are fighting a Tirpitz or German battleship in general with another battleship, because it means you're aiming higher, and the upper belt plate on those ships is a lot thinner than on well, the lower plate, I guess, so you're much more likely to penetrate, and since you can't citadel them anyway, it's completely fine. So, torpedoes incoming, but they all pretty much missed, and the enemy team only has a Fubuki and a Benson left, so this should be the last salvo, or one of them. Wow, 5,800 damage, 5 overpens. Oh, and the Fubuki was actually taken out. Nicely done, carrier. So, Muchas Gracias' team managed to win this match, and it was a really good comeback if you think about it, because they really were down quite many points. 5 ships against 9, and the enemy team actually got to 961 points. But good strategy and careful use of the Cyclone managed to, well, help them pull the game back, and Muchas Gracias himself had a rather explosive end to the match. Look at that, he made 600,000 credits, 8,500 experience. He got a Confederate flag, Dreadnought, 2 close quarters experts, a Kraken Unleashed, a devastating strike, and a high caliber. And he did 215,000 damage. 75 shell hits, 2 torp hits, some planes shot down, 6 ships sunk, 8 fires, 6 hit, etc, etc. Like, those aren't the important parts, but look at that. 144 secondary hits on a Tirpitz, not a Bismarck. The Tirpitz has essentially the same secondaries as the Bismarck, but they are a lot shorter range, so you can't really use them as effectively as a Bismarck can, but they can definitely do just as much damage if they get in range. In the team panel, you can see how absolutely amazing Muchas Gracias' match was. Look at that, 4,151 experience. Base experience. That is incredible, because the enemy team only had 1 tier 9 ship and no tier 10 ships. You know, the tier of the ship that you hit, hitting a higher tier ship gives you more experience. So getting 4,151 base experience in a tier 8 game is even more amazing than one where, you know, you were hitting tier 10 ships. But even on top of that, they still had a Fubuki that had a pretty amazing game in her own right, 2,915 experience. Also, their carrier actually had a very good game too, 2,054 experience. If you think about it, carriers get reduced experience quite a bit, so that result is pretty amazing. And the friendly Bismarck and Tirpitz also did fairly well, but their results are more in line with what you normally get. And honestly, I was rather impressed by how well this Tashkent played early on. Later on, I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. And the one ship on the enemy team that was left at the end was the Benson that shied away from fighting against the Tashkent early on. Well, I guess he did survive though. He did something, but I think he should have been way more aggressive. In the detail report you can see what the damage was, 171,000 with main batteries, with a rather stunning hit rate compared to shells fired. Torpedoes did 16,000 damage, and I believe he didn't fire a single HE salvo, which means that all the fires are from secondary hits. So this means essentially that his secondaries did 28,000 damage total. He also took a total of 110,000 damage, yet he still survived at the end. This is really impressive. He also finished off a bunch of... What? He did 60,000 damage to the Aerroon. How much HP does a Aerroon even have? Damn. He did more damage to the Aerroon than even any of the battleships he shot. That's incredible. And in the credits tab you can see that, wow, he made the 618,000 credits without premium. Without premium. He made a profit of 500,000 credits without using premium. What the fuck? 927,000 credits would have been made if he had had premium. That's incredible. Wow. Wow. This is such an insane result. Thank you very much for sending it in, muchas gracias. And I'm really glad I watched this one and made it into a video. I hope you guys also enjoyed this match. So anyways, I would like to thank the Patreons and Patreon now. Your continued support helps the channel keep going, and I would like to thank you, Voguyen, and I hope I see you guys next time.